So moving on, we had Shota Umino defeating the Great Okan in 22 minutes and 53 seconds. Like I mentioned, Umino came back the night before in that tag with the shaved head. He's wearing a white hoodie, all white gear, no colors. He's not slapping hands and kissing babies, no more glow sticks. Very serious face, and came out here, more stoic, quote unquote, trying to be more aggressive. What did you think about this kind of soft relaunch for Shota Umino?
The moment that I saw him come out, I thought, "Oh my god, he's probably winning the New Japan Cup." Because I think back to the runs that EVIL and SANADA both had when they were making not massive, but they were making character changes throughout the tour, and it was evident that you're like, "Oh shit, they're doing something with this guy right now."
Mhm.
And you don't know what it is, but they're doing something. When that happens and it's New Japan Cup, they usually don't go half measure. They usually win. And as soon as he came out that way, I was like, I don't like this. I think that there is a better way to tell this story if that's what we're doing. But I think he's probably winning. I think I was like, damn, my bracket's probably fucking busted because he's probably winning the whole thing. And then I saw him work and I was like, well, it's just Shota Umino working a little slower.
Yeah, working slower, trying to be stiffer, and yeah, it just didn't work for me. I was like, he's supposed to be coming back with this whole new attitude, and he's going, life and death, 22 minutes of Great Okan. It's like, what was that supposed to do for me? Like, yeah, it's just bald Umino that's working slower. This does nothing for me. Like, if he was gonna come back with this whole new attitude and he's more angry and more aggressive, like he should have buzzsawed Okan. And I get it, maybe you don't want to hurt Okan, but you should have given him somebody where he just goes in there and it's like 5-10 minutes. He just goes in there, no cells, and like murders somebody to get this thing over.
Well, I think it's like remember Evil's run? He was just like he hadn't changed his look, but he was just a lot more aggressive and he was cheating a lot. And that's remember earlier when I was saying like we've seen instances where there's a wide variety of people with their different temperaments in the same group. There was like a while there where like Evil was still the heavy cheater within LIJ, even when like Hiromu and others were basically not that anymore.
Mhm.
So that kind of existed for a while. But yeah, he was cheating extensively, like more than he ever normally did. And he just started taking on that persona until the like last two matches where he just, he joined Bullet Club and fucked off or whatever. But it was clear they were doing something there. And then Sonata obviously like was, doing the whole like I'm leaving LIJ thing, started changing his look, changing his gear throughout the thing. I think that this is not the final finished product. I listened to Flagship this past week and I heard what they said and they were like if the story was I'm going back to the basics and I want to, they were like they shouldn't have gone in half measure. They should have just like completely like had him go back to the basics, wear the black trunks and not even be in the tournament and tell a
Mhm.
story of redemption and work openers and shit like that. And I think that's kind of cool if that's what you were looking to do. And maybe that'd even be a more effective way to get to where you're trying to go. I don't know if I trust Gato. I like Gato's booking, but I don't know if I trust Gato to tell that kind of story. I don't think that's his style. But I don't think that the intention here was ever to bring him in to this tournament and have him showcase what he's going to be. I think this is an interim period where what we're supposed to believe is happening is that he's getting more focused. He's getting rid of the color, the fans, and he's just a no nonsense dude. But I don't think that's really what this is. I think it's all facade for what they're going to unveil. I think he's probably turning heel at the end of this, similar to how Evil did,
Mhm.
and probably starting a new faction. That's the only thing that makes I think he's beating Finley now, which sucks. Not that I love Finley, but that was my bracket, my prediction. I wanted to be right, but I think he's beating Finley. And I have not loved these matches. I don't think that his work has been outstanding, but I also kind of think it might be on purpose. Like like almost like they're intentionally they were like, hey, you're not going out. You went into the Tokyo Dome, you gave it your best. It didn't connect. We're scrapping that. We're gonna, turn you heel. They're gonna have him do something new, whatever the fuck that is. But I think we're gonna see the transformation take place either at the finals or after the finals. I don't think that this is even. I don't think what they've done is an indication at all of what he's gonna be.
Gotcha. Yeah, for a second there, I thought that they were going to go with Zach and Umino in the finals, do a full redemption, have him beat Zach, and that's how he wins the New Japan Cup.
I think that is what they are intending people to think, is that he's got the all white on, and the all white, typically it signifies like a purification. There's like that spiritual element to it.
Mhm.
I don't think that's what it is, bro. I think that this is all a facade and a work to get people to believe like I'm still Umino, but I'm a badass Umino, and I'm very, sharp and focused. I'm laser focused and I'm serious. I think it's just he got rid of all that other shit because he's getting ready to unveil some more new shit that we don't even see coming. And he's
Yeah.
going to be a whole new character. And he's not, I think that this white gear, I don't think you'll ever see this white gear. I could be wrong, but if they're smart about it, I think you never see this white gear ever again beyond this tour. This is the one time he wears it just for this tournament, and that's it.
Yeah. I did find it hilarious. I've been kind of making fun of the whole render thing for so long. They've been sticking with like
They just changed it.
Right. They just changed it finally to the pink look, and he's now shaved his head.
Yeah, I noticed that, and I was like, Jeremy's gonna notice this shit.
We have some questions here. Stale Burger Bun says, Shota Umino a new man?
I guess. I mean, he kind of works the same.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what's sad? I saw a clip that New Japan posted from this tournament from I don't know if it was last year or the year before, but it was Shota Umino versus David Finlay. It's probably last year.
Probably, yeah.
And they were working so good, and I was like, bro, like Shota Umino does not work this good anymore. I was like, I bet you this finals match that's coming up is not going to be anywhere near as good as what I'm seeing in this clip. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Shota Umino with the hair like was kind of good. Like,
yeah. Rainbow Sandpig says, thoughts on how Shota got his groove back? Did they go far enough for a character reset, or is the change too incremental given how lost he has seemed over the last year plus?
I do kind of agree with some of the points that Chris made on this show the other week, where I think that it could be viewed as like this is too soon, but I also think a lot of people think that it is a redemption story, and I don't think they're telling a redemption story. I think that they're telling a I don't know what you call it, but it's not I don't think it's actually a redemption story. I think this is a guy that's getting ready to turn on everybody.
Yeah, if it was redemption, I do think it would be too soon, but clearly I do think, I hope that there is something else at play. And also, with Hantai becoming super Hantai with Chaos and everything joining and it being under Goto, like, and Charlton was mentioning on commentary, he's like, yeah, Umino was sitting at home watching Goto become the leader of Hantai when, last year Umino was like, I'm the ace, I'm leading New Japan in the future, and now Goto is the one that's leading New Japan to the future. And so,
right. And I think part of that was him also saying, like, had he won in the Dome, what do we think would be happening right now? Do you think he'd be handing it over to Goto? Like, no, it'd probably be Shota Umino.
Right, yeah. So maybe this is kind of like I guess maybe corruption storyline where like he's broken, and it's like, I've tried to do it the right way. I try to get to the big spot, and
that's what this is.
I hope that's what it is, because if not,
I feel so confident that it is, because otherwise I think it's shoddy booking. Mm-hmm. And because I don't think that Shota Umino has it in him to tell that redemptive story and for us to all invest and believe that that guy that shit the bed so deeply in the Tokyo Dome in just a couple months time can turn it around and redeem himself. I don't think that's happening, and I don't think even if they did want to tell that story, I don't think Shota Umino, the performer, has the chops to successfully tell that story. But I think the story of I tried it the right way for so long and look where it got me. Fuck that. Let's, and he's off and he's corrupted. And yeah, I don't think it's a redemption story. I think you put it right. I think it's a corruption story. I think that he's going down a dark path, and it's funny because he's wearing all white and everybody, I don't think a lot of people see it, to be honest, but I just think it would be terrible booking if you try to tell the other story. I think when you are a booker, you kind of have to know the strengths of your performers and their capabilities. And if you've been paying attention to this guy for any length of time, I think it's becoming very apparent. Like whether you think he has the goods in terms of in-ring or not, that's a different story. But I don't think he can convincingly play the babyface anymore.
Yeah. MJSPR says Shota's new finisher is called Second Chapter. I'm curious, what's the worst book that's ever existed?
I don't know, man. The worst book that's ever existed. I don't know. I'm not like a book snob. I do. I listen to quite a few audio books, but I don't know if this. I don't know if it. I mainly just listen to Stephen King. So I don't know. I wouldn't be the person to ask about that.
Yeah, nothing really popped into mind for a horrible book. But speaking of his finisher, what do you think of the new finisher, kind of Northern Lights type maneuver?
Kinda, but he's getting them vertical and he's grabbing the one leg and then bringing him over. I don't think it's really a I saw someone call it a Northern Lights, but it's not. Northern Lights is the snowplow where they come straight down.
It's kind of a variation of it. It's not the full.
Yeah, I like it. He needed to do something to get away from the mock shit,
Yeah.
So,
and I do feel like the second chapter could lean into that whole corruption thing. It's like, yeah, chapter 1 was, yeah, I'm doing it all the right way, whatever. And now, all right, new chapter. I'm doing it totally different way now. Barry Wall says, with Umino trying to beat Tanahashi, Naito, and others, do you think his new muse of Jinsei Sasaki will be a winner?
I don't think that's what it is, but it is funny. Everyone keeps calling him that. So,
yeah. Doc says Shota now impersonating Kensuke, but bald, and it is working. Yuya shifting to 90s Muto and Hase. What 90s wrestler should Narita and Tsuji start stealing from? Narita could probably stand to copy some of Chono cheating in submissions. And I guess Tsuji could definitely start doing a shooting star press. He has in his back pocket as a Liger reference. What wrestlers from the 90s should be stolen from in the modern age? I think Oleg should watch more Nakanishi and add the torture rack.
It's a lot. It's a lot to that question. I mean, I feel like you answered your question. You know what you want to see,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to get to the question because he said so much there. Like, what the fuck? But I don't know. Yeah, let me see here.
Is there anybody you think Narita and Tsuji should be trying to?
I don't know. I don't know why he's saying that Shota is impersonating Kensuke, but bald. Like, maybe there's something I'm missing there. Kensuke Sasaki? Like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I think there's always cool stuff to take from wrestlers from yesteryear. I also think that you don't just want to copy and emulate guys from the past. It's always good to be your own thing and do something fresh and new and innovative.
Yeah. Reddit user Vert McPolygon says, how would you describe the new Shota Umino? All I can see is him being the same, but with no hair, no pink, and somehow even less emotion than before. He also the same, but it's actually more boring than he was a month ago. Am I missing some genius change?
No, I don't think you are. And in fact, even if I think personally that there is maybe some intelligence to the story that I believe that they're telling. I also don't think that people are like, you know, captivated by it.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I'd be hearing other people I have you heard anybody else say what I'm saying right now really about this?
No, I've just been hearing people bury it, and people are kind of frustrated. Like, why is this guy getting to the finals? Like, he's having all these stinkers in the tournament. Like, people are not loving this new presentation and what he's been doing.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the main talking point I've heard is like, we've already rejected XYZ about this guy, so now we're doubling down, and there's confusion over that. Um, I'm not a believer in Shota Umino any longer. I think there's a time where if certain things had shook out a different way and we got to this point in the story, and this is the story they were telling, maybe I would be intrigued by it and, kind of into it, but I'm really not into it. Like, I don't think that I don't think he's really a top guy. And I think they're getting ready to give him a fucking faction and maybe even the fucking strap. And I don't think he's got the shoulders to carry the company like that. I don't think he's got the goods. And
Yeah,
in ring, he's lacking. Like he just
he's
doesn't have it.
he's very inconsistent.
Yeah, like we've seen him be carried to great matches by certain guys, but there's a lot of people he should have had great matches with that he just didn't. And he's seemed to regress as time has gone on. And if your claim about that is that this is just character building and long-term play, like I don't know, it's not for me because the
Yeah,
matches
like
suck.
yeah, if his long-term plan was to, lay an egg in the Tokyo Dome, like that's not a great long-term plan.
I
So,
don't think that they should have done this, to be honest. I think that I think the idea of an actual long-term redemptive arc, there could have been something to that. I think that the reality is the way that I see Shota Umino these days. I see him a more akin to someone like and these two people I'm going to mention, I think they're more talented than him. So I'm not trying to say it despairingly, but like remember like there was time where like Yoshihashi and Taichi, people did not get them, did not like them, didn't like their work, their look, yada yada. And over time they endeared themselves and got back to a place where they kind of became players. It's kind of how I see Shota Umino these days. Which is that's a far fall from us kind of seeing him as a future ace potential type of
mhm.
guy. But that's sort of where we're at. And I feel like maybe it would be wiser to cut loose and move him down the card and then try and redeem him. And I know that sounds harsh, but I think that is actually the better way to go. I think what they're going to do is they're going to double down and try and make him work. And I don't know. I think the best we can hope for is like another evil, like a guy who really can't go, but maybe he finds a niche and plays the foil, and that's like his deal. And
Yeah.
because I think that's what they're hoping to maybe try to do with him.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, as much as we're not big fans of Evil, I think Evil does do a great job of getting heat, and yeah, he kind of has nailed that whole House of Torture stick, and the crowd take them and boo them, and they get heat and they get babyfaces over. It's like, do you need another unit like that in that position with Evil and House of Torture? And then you kind of have War Dogs who were in that position, so I don't know.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't hear anybody else saying this, but when I look at it, I don't see him coming off like a badass. I see him as a guy that's scheming in the background to do something different and is broken by what's transpired. And that's why he was left out of the Hantai shit.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a big talking point that I think people have kind of forgotten and overlooked now that yeah, he was not out there whatsoever. And I think, yeah, that could be the calling card for what's to come. And I know a lot of people are talking about Youngblood coming back, and this whole maybe there's a link with him and Sanada. So yeah, there's definitely something brewing.
Maybe they could add Jake Lee to the mix and just really.
Oh my god. Oh yikes.